It was January 1999. I was sitting at the end of a long, empty hallway. The hallway was lined with chairs, tables. This was a place where parents waited for their children in their music lessons. But I was sitting at the end of the hallway waiting for my own first private music lesson. I was 41 years old, and I was about to meet my first private music teacher. Hi, I'm Dr. B. I know what it means to start life over. Later, I earned my MFA when I was 47. I started my first teaching gig when I was 49. And I earned my PhD when I was 61. I know that through this journey and this process, we often bump into new and different identities. And that's what I wanted to talk with you about today. Today, I am beginning a virtual retreat. I'm inviting you along. I no longer am that music student waiting for my first bass clarinet lesson. I am now a teacher, I am an educator, and hopefully I am an inspirer. I'm here to bring you along on this journey, on your own journey. So, today is the first day, and this retreat is going to last throughout the month, 31 days. Every day we're going to do something a little bit new and different, and every day I hope that your identity continues to evolve and grow. I made some notes, so I'll be referring to those, and let's see what happens. Shifting identities. When I was waiting for that first clarinet lesson, I was a mother, I was a wife, and I was a business owner. I was also a daughter, helping to take care of my elderly mother. And I know there were other things that I was too, but if you asked me at that time, that's how I would identify myself. Maybe, depending on the day, depending on the hour of the day, that identity shifts and changes. Who are you today? How many different hats do you wear? We're all members of this shifting identity, but we often have one particular role, one goal, one name that we can call ourselves. And if we give ourselves permission to use that name, maybe that's when we're going to say, yes, I've made it. But I'm here to say, I don't think it is ever one particular destination or place or role or name. I think that it's always evolving and changing. I'm inviting you to a place, fictional, that I call the queendom of becoming. And in this queendom, there are the sisterhood of questing queens. Within this queendom, there are many, many creatures that we meet, that we know. And today, I'm going to talk about one of my biggest foes, who I call the perfectionist poltergeist. And I can tell you, right before I started this video, the perfectionist poltergeist was right at my side saying, nope, the setting's not right, the lighting is terrible, you aren't ready to do this, who do you think you are? And all of these little jabs. But I am also calling upon one of the allies in the queendom of becoming, the confidence camel. If you know anything about camels, you know that they can last a very long time without water. And water is essential for us humans, but camels can go days and days without water because they know how to store it up. The confidence camel is also there by your side, full of all of the confidence that you need. I called upon the confidence camel to give me a lift and take me away from the poltergeist, the perfectionist poltergeist. And even now, when I missaid their name, the perfectionist poltergeist would say, "See, I told you, you're not ready." Delete this video immediately. But the confidence camel is saying, it's okay. Nobody's perfect. I got you. That's the second point that I want to make. And then the third point is the queendom of becoming is a welcoming place for all of us. If you think that you want to do something, anything, that will fulfill your long-held dreams, then I invite you to join the Sisterhood of Questing Queens. We are a supportive group. We have each other's backs. And when we don't know the answers, somebody in our sisterhood will know the answers and come forward and lend you a hand and help you. Within the queendom, there are lots and lots of different places. There is the Ampersand Cafe, where we can get to know each other, share coffee, have time to talk, and talk about our goals, talk about our dreams, talk about where we come from, who we are now, and where and who we want to become. The Ampersand Cafe is one of my favorite places. Think of it as your favorite morning coffee shop. Vibrant, but there's always that quiet corner where you can sit and enjoy a little downtime. Maybe you're going to bring your journal along with you. Maybe it's going to be your laptop. Maybe it's a sketchbook. There's always a place for you. Whether it's at a table, at the counter, or over in a corner all by yourself. There's also the porch where we gather and talk about other things. I like to think of porch talks as a way for us to become a more supportive community. There's also the urgent care, because some of us, from time to time, need immediate assistance on any given thing. Think of it as a place that you would go if you sprained your ankle, or if you were just feeling unwell. Take a moment, gather your thoughts together, and the best part about the urgent care in the queendom of becoming, you don't need insurance. We got you covered. Other places within the queendom, there is the graveyard of ghost projects. The graveyard lurks on the side, but we can visit it with intention when we're ready to resurrect a project. We can also go there and notice all of our abandoned projects and decide we're going to let some of those go. It's all good. It's totally fine. The whole purpose of this retreat is to support you and to help you take one step forward wherever that step is. And there's a whole lot more. I'll talk about that in the upcoming videos. Today, just wanted to welcome you into the queendom. Think of it as you have arrived at the gate. You're looking around. I give you a map, a guide, We have ambassadors who will come along with you. Are you ready? You need to be sure. Then again, you don't have to be sure. Anything and everything is okay in the queendom. I have a little bit of homework, if you want to think of it that way. I often end my newsletters with a try this. So today your try this is make a list of all of your identities. And for this, I want you to think of the 4 quadrants of life. So we begin in childhood. What were some of your identities when you were a child? For me, I was a curious kid. My dad used to call me the logical kid. I think I had a way of talking about things so that I often got my way. I was also became pretty shy. I was bullied when I was in junior high. But then we all get through that, hopefully, and we emerge into young adulthood. So that's the second quadrant. Young adulthood, think of it as about 18 to maybe 29, 30. What was your identity there? For me, I worked retail. I became a mother. I started my own business with my husband. And there's other identities that I'm not going to share here because I feel that they're too private. But in your list, if you're willing, write everything down that you can think of for when you were a young adult. After that, think about midlife. It depends on your age, where, how do you identify yourself in midlife? What names might you call yourself? Thinking back to that opening story when I was waiting for my first bass clarinet lesson, I became a student. And because of that experience, which in many ways changed my life, I became a writer, an artist, and I received my calling to inspire others to do their art. Thinking back, that actually happened before the clarinet lessons by a couple of years because it was such an impactful experience that I actually wrote a note about it. It was in November 1997, right on the other side of this yard. I was taking a walk and I asked myself, what should I do? And the answer came to me immediately. Inspire others to do their art. That's a story for another day, but it took me a while to get to that point, to gain the confidence. I didn't know about the confidence camel then. I didn't have a name for the perfectionist poltergeist, but I certainly knew how it impacted my life. Midlife changes often. Many of us experience divorce, the death of a partner, a parent, some sort of a shift or change that comes about. We might lose a job. We might have to move when we didn't really want to. And all of those impact and affect your identity as well. But for right now, that's the third quadrant. Write about your identities in midlife, however you want to define that. And then, depending on who you are, think about the future later in life. Think about the identities that you hope to embrace. They're living within you already. I know they are. They need a little bit of permission. I call some of the underlying currents the threadway, and I'll talk about that in upcoming videos too. Think of the threadway as the mycelium, mushrooms, connect with each other underneath the ground. Think of it as a root system, but you can also think of it in terms of a subway system, connected. I'll spend an entire video on the threadway and why it's important for you as a questing queen to know it's always there for you. It is your foundation. It is your strength that you can always go back to. Today I invite you into the Sisterhood of Questing Queens. We are a powerful force, and as a queen yourself, embrace all of the identities of who you are, who you once were, who you are now, and who you hope to be. I played bass clarinet for about 12 years. For many of those years, I was part of a clarinet choir. And throughout the experience, I became a different person. I am still sometimes confounded by the poltergeist, perfectionist poltergeist. And I am learning that the confidence camel is right with me. I can feel that nudging on the back of my head to keep going. Let's find your confidence camel together. All right, that's all for today. This is day 1 of our journey, of our retreat. Do your homework. If you don't, I'm not going to mark you down. But if you do, I think you will benefit from this entire process all the more. A biento. And if you stayed with me this far, please drop the word maple tree in the comments, and I will send you a very special gift. Love you.